Hey YouTube, today I'm canning peaches, and unfortunately I do not have any peach trees, and I don't know of any farmers in my area that are selling peaches. So the next best thing that I'm going to do, and that anybody can do, is just wait for a sale. This is the time of year where these type of produce are going on better deals than usual because it's harvest season. And these peaches are on, or were on, 3 liters for $6. So I did the math. Those canned peaches or jarred peaches that you buy at the store in glass jars or in tin cans, those are usually like $5, $6 for less than 1 liter. So this is a really good time if you're interested in getting ahead. So I'm going to be canning 2 of these, which is, it should give me about 2 jars. So the first step is to have your peaches lightly washed. I wouldn't over soak them because the whole process can make it mushy if you leave it in water for way too long. So what I have here is some of the peaches that I'm going to start with, but I'm going to do the same with all. I've just scored an X on the bottom end of the peach. Then the next step will be to boil them for 2 to 5 minutes and then do what they call shocking them into some ice cold water. And this ice cold water bath is going to help these peaches to peel the skin off. Now if you don't mind the skin, you could entirely skip this step and just have clean peaches and go to the next step. But most people traditionally enjoy having canned peaches that look like this. So these are canned peaches that I made earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and score all these peaches that I have here, and I'll be back. Okay, so now my scored peaches are going into the water bath. Now some people say you should let this water bath or boil for about 1 minute, and that will be enough for the shocking to peel off the skin. I found in my experience that 2 minutes at least, all the way up to 5 minutes, is just that perfect area where the peaches just peel so much easier once they've been shocked. So it'll be up to you, but anywhere between 2 and 5 is what works for me. So I'm going to let this boil for another 2 minutes, and I'll be back. Alright, so these are ready. I can actually see some of them starting to peel. You don't have to see that. Just time it and then drop them into the ice water bath. And I'm just going to leave these here for another 2 to 5 minutes. And while these are sitting here for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to work on my simple syrup. Okay, so the recipe for the simple syrup depends on how sweet you want your syrup to be. So for a very light syrup or a light syrup, it would be 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of water. And then if you want it to be on the heavier syrup side, it's going to be 1 to 1. 1 cup of sugar to 1 cup of water. And here, while I am peeling and chopping those peaches, I'm just going to boil my canning jars in water in order to sterilize them. I usually use the oven as my method of sterilizing my jars, but because it's still summertime and because of the heat, I'm just going to use this method today to keep that heat at a minimum inside the house. Sorry for my makeshift stand, but I just want to show you. This is the peach that's been scored and boiled and shocked, and now you can see the skin is just lifting. So it's very easy. It's just my method that I do is just to push it down, or even with my whole hand, I could probably like squeeze it downwards, and you can see it peels very, very easily. And I just push down on it. A little difficult with these jars in my way, but I just push down on it and the whole skin comes right off. You can see here. So that's what I'm going to do. Go ahead and peel all of them. I'm just going to cut it into 4/4 and take the pit out and dump it into the bowl and repeat until I've done all of these peaches. So I'll be back. Okay, so here it is. That big bowl is now empty. I've got all my peelings here and all the ready peaches on this side. I'm going to add, this is just the water from the peaches. I'm going to add it to my jar of simple syrup here. Can't hurt. And then I'm going to jar this up. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and put these in the jars. I'm going to try my best to fill them up all the way. If you miss any spots, what happens is when the water bath canning process goes on, these peaches will just kind of start rising to the top. And really, I don't think there's a way to avoid it 100%, but just keeping it in mind might help you to fill these up a little bit more than what you might have. I'm using pint jars for this batch. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I think it's easier to give away, and even sometimes depending on how many peaches you're going to eat at a time, to have them in pints. So there, it's at the fill line. I'm going to try to add one more, because we don't want to go past the neckline when you're canning anything. So I'm just pressing on it to try to ensure that I've let out any spaces, that I've pushed down any spaces, and I'm just gonna go ahead to the next one. So here they are, that's all the peaches. So I ended up with a lot more than I thought. I was expecting to have equivalent of 2 quarts, which would be 4 pints, but I have 5 pints and 1 quart full from the peaches. So that's a good problem. What you'll notice here is that I hardly used any simple syrup, and that was because I tried very hard this time to pack them in really full, and I used my spoon here like this to press down pretty hard on the peaches without like ruining them, so that I can get all the space filled up with actual peaches rather than liquid. And that was because, again, of my last canning experience having this space, which is perfectly fine. It's just that I wanted to get as much peaches as possible in each jar, because I don't really love the idea of them floating up to the top. And you can avoid that if you stuff them really full. But on the flip side of things, I used not even, oh, I got a piece of peach in there. I used hardly any simple syrup at all, because it pretty much created its own juices as I pressed down on it. So you can see here, this jar has got most of its own liquid. I topped them off in some cases with a little, like maybe a couple tablespoons of simple syrup, but for the most part, I didn't even need it. So that's, it's not a bad problem. As long as your peaches are nice and fresh and ripe, these taste delicious. Like, I tasted one and it didn't need any syrup at all. Some people don't even use syrup or sugar. They just use water. So some people pack them in water, but I'm saying you could probably just pack them in their own peach juices, and that way they'll still taste delicious as long as they're ripe. And one other thing, some people do pack their peaches in juice, like fruit juice. So that's another option as well. With my rag that's hot and got vinegar on it, I'm gonna wipe the rims down and then go ahead and put my lids on top of them. Get them ready for their water bath. Okay, so jars are in and the water is to the boil. The pint jars are going to can for 25 minutes and the quart jars will can for 35 minutes. So I'll come back when it's all said and done and I'll just show you what it looks like. So here they are, the canned jars. I'm not sure, it's a little hard to see for some reason. Oh, actually my glass, I need to wash the glass. I forgot to put vinegar, so I'll put a note in the video to put vinegar. But this one's clear, and you can see here, the difference between the two. The one I canned the other day without packing the peaches in purposefully, the difference here in the liquid. The simple syrup is kind of taking up space down there, while the peaches are up here a little bit out of the liquid. And this one, you can see, yeah, overall, this is a very simple project. Water bath canning fruit is pretty easy. And if you get it on sale, you're going to save quite a bit and also secure yourself some summer fruit during the bland winter months when definitely none of it's on sale. And And now that they're out, I'm just testing them to make sure they're fully sealed. You can take the lids off completely if you want to check if it's fully sealed, but you can also just test here, and I could tell there's no air gaps, and if you press on it and it bounces back, you know it never sealed. So I would save that, put it in the fridge, and eat that one first. So if you have any questions about the water bath canning process for peaches, you could go ahead and ask in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer what I do know. And thank you for watching. God bless you. See you in the next video.